I really wanted to share today my lesson of today. It's so eye-opening, and it's lesson 135, which says, if I defend myself, I am attacked. Who would defend himself unless he thought he were attacked, that the attack were real, and that his own defense could save himself? Even in these first sentences, in this first sentence, there's so much wisdom because it shows that if we defend ourselves against anything, then it means that we think we are being attacked. And actually, some of the forms of defenses are not even considered by us as defenses. And therefore, we don't even know that we think unconsciously that we are attacked. So this lesson will deal with these forms of defenses. And herein lies the folly of defense. It gives illusions full reality and then attempts to handle them as real. So defenses give illusions full reality and then attempt to handle them as real. That's how this dream is perpetuated, the dream of the ego. Defense adds illusions to illusions, thus making correction doubly difficult. And it is this you do when you attempt to plan the future. So planning by ourselves without the help of Christ, our future, is a form of defense. And also a form of defense is activating the past when people keep dwelling on the past and take actions based on the past, therefore repeating the past. So they assure the same routine life. Or organize the present as you wish. So self-willed organization of your life is also a defense. You operate from the belief you must protect yourself from what is happening because it must contain what threatens you. And when you really are honest with yourself, you will know this is what you're doing. It's all to protect yourself. A sense of threat is an acknowledgement of an inherent weakness, a belief that there is danger which has power to call on you to make appropriate defense. The world is based on this insane belief. So the whole world is sustained with this belief that we need to defend ourselves against some kind of attack. So we act on illusion of attack, and therefore it's doubly difficult for us to wake up because we are covering illusions by illusions, perceived threats with defenses. The world is based on this insane belief, and all its structures, all its thoughts and doubts, its penalties and heavy armaments, its legal definitions and its codes, its ethics and its leaders and its gods all serve but to preserve its sense of threat. So the ego always operates from this sense of threat. Its thoughts are always fear-based, lack-based, and that's how we know that it doesn't come from the higher self. It's coming from the ego. For no one walks the world in armature, but must have terror striking at his heart. So those who are most trying to protect themselves, they are feeling that they are attacked the most, that there is the biggest threat for them. And that's why in the Bible it is told, and again, it's in my own words, that nothing is greater than laying down your life for your brother or something along those lines. Defense is frightening. It stems from fear, increasing fear as each defense is made. And that's why it is told that when you lay down your life for others, you're actually gaining life. And when you try to protect your life, you are inviting death. Because what are you protecting? You're protecting illusion. The body is an illusion. So when you understand you're not the body and you don't protect it, that's how you gain life. That's why Christ resurrected. So defense is frightening. It stems from fear, increasing fear as each defense is made. So here it says that the fear increases the more we are defending ourselves. You think it offers safety. So most people think, of course, defense offers safety. Yet it speaks of fear made real and terror justified. Is it not strange you do not pause to ask as you elaborate your plans and make your armor thicker and your locks more tight, what you defend and how and against what? Let us consider first what you defend. It must be something that is very weak and easily assaulted. It must be something made easy prey, unable to protect itself and needing your defense. What but the body has such frailty that constant care and watchful deep concern are needful to protect its little life? What but the body falters and must fail to serve the Son of God as worthy host? Yet it is not the body that can fear, nor be a thing of fear. It has no needs but those which you assign to it. It needs no complicated structures of defense, no health-inducing medicine. The body doesn't need any health-inducing medicine. The body doesn't need any defense. No care and no concern at all. That's why it is told in A Course in Miracles that if the body is major beneficiary in whatever you're doing, it's death. It's basically you're bringing about your own death. You're investing in that which is of death. That's why the body should be of no concern at all. Defend its life or give it gifts to make it beautiful or walls to make it safe, and you but say your home is open to the thief of time, corruptible and crumbling, so unsafe, it must be guarded with your very life. So if we as spirits consider body as our home, of course, that's what we will do. We will beautify it, we will protect it because we consider it our home. But this home is the home of death, and it shouldn't be our home at all. And so when we don't consider body as home for the spirit to dwell in, obviously we will not think about it. And in A Course in Miracles, it is told we're not even here. We are safely in the hands of God. We are just asleep, thinking ourselves to be in these bodies. So we are actually not even here. That's why the body is not our home. We are not here. Is not this picture fearful? Can you be at peace with such a concept of your home, where the home that is a subject of time, that ages, that has diseases, and that will eventually die? Is that a good home for a spirit? Yet what endowed the body with the right to serve you thus, except your own belief? It is your mind which gave the body all the functions that you see in it, and set its value far beyond a little pile of dust and water. So body is the dwelling place of the ego. Through the body, ego tries to fulfill itself. It always needs something. So it uses the body to get things, to get pleasure, to get money. And because it's nothing, the ego is nothing, and it tries to prove itself that it's something. So it uses the body for this reason. That's why people study very hard to be seen by others as great, because the ego takes pride in that. If the body is acknowledged by other bodies as worthy. But what happens to the Son of God, deceived in such a way, is that he is not happy because he is lost in illusions, because those things that the ego tries to fulfill it with through the body never satisfy. In the end, they bring pain. Who would make defense of something that he recognized as this, as just made of little piece of dust and water? The body is in need of no defense. This cannot be too often emphasized. It will be strong and healthy if the mind does not abuse it by assigning it to roles it cannot fill, to purposes beyond its scope, and to exalted aims which it cannot accomplish. So if the body is left in peace, it will be happy and healthy. And then once it's no longer useful for us as spirits, it will just be let aside. But if we expect of the body what it cannot give, that's when diseases start. That's why it gets sickly and weak and dies. Such attempts, ridiculous yet deeply cherished, are the sources for the many mad attacks you make upon it. For it seems to fail your hopes, your needs, your values, and your dreams. So some people even say they attack themselves by saying they are losers or that they are not successful. So they are trying to make the body achieve something for them that the body should not do. Because we as spirits should be happy as we are, should be fulfilled as we are, and not seek fulfillment through the body in the illusion, in the desert, as Jesus calls this world. The self that needs protection is not real. The body, valueless and hardly worth the least defense, need merely be perceived as quite apart from you, and it becomes a healthy, serviceable instrument through which the mind can operate until its usefulness is over. So Jesus calls this body valueless because it's made from the material of dreams, like this whole world is. And again, I really like to use the example of the comparison of sleeping. And the dream could be very beautiful. And our vehicles in the dream, the bodies could be also very beautiful and seemingly valuable. Yet we wake up and it's a dream. It's valueless. So it's the same in this world. This world is made of dreams. It's made of the material of dreams, and the body is also made of dreams. So it's valueless. But when we place big value on the body, that's when unhappiness comes. Who would want to keep it when its usefulness is done? Defend the body and you have attacked your mind. So every time we defend our bodies, we attack our minds. This is so important to understand. And it's so hard not to defend the body, because we do believe until we are awakened that this is our dwelling place, that this is our home. So it's natural for us to protect ourselves. That's why people hate crowds. They feel like their space is being imposed on. So it's all about separation, all about the ego. For you have seen in it the faults, the weaknesses, the limits, and the lacks from which you think the body must be saved. So for you have seen in it, in the mind, the faults, the weaknesses, the limits, and the lacks from which you think the body must be saved. You will not see the mind as separate from bodily conditions, and you will impose upon the body all the pain that comes from the conception of the mind as limited and fragile, and apart from other minds and separate from its source. So all it is, the body, is just a projection of the condition, the perceived condition of the mind. So if we believe ourselves to be, if we believe the mind to be separated from other minds, weak, helpless, then that's how we will perceive the body. And a separated mind is a mind in pain, because it's painful to be separated from your brothers and sisters, because we are one in truth. So the body itself doesn't experience pain. It's the mind that experiences pain. But since the mind is so identified with the body, it projects everything on the body, all its guilt, all its pain, all its separation. But those who experience travel through different realms know that the emotions, the pain, and the pleasure is all in the mind. It's just the mind projects that onto the body, onto the vehicle, whatever it is, whether it's a vehicle of this dimension or finer dimensions. And you will impose upon the body all the pain that comes from the conception of the mind as limited and fragile and apart from other minds and separate from its source. So it's all about healing the mind. It's the body is just the effect. The mind is the cause. As the mind understands that it never loved God, that it's a whole, that it's not separated from other minds, then the body naturally heals, because the body is an effect and the mind is the cause. And it's so hard to understand because the body looks so real, yet it's just a projection of the condition of the seemingly separated mind. These are the thoughts in need of healing. So the thoughts that the mind is limited, fragile, and apart from other minds and separate from its source, that we are separate from God, this is what needs to be healed. And the body will respond with health when they have been corrected and replaced with truth. When the thoughts of separation are corrected and replaced with truth, the body naturally will heal. How amazing that is. So it's not about going to doctors, taking medicines. Of course, if people are in very deep fear, then it's better to take medicines. But people who are progressing in a spiritual life, they start understanding more and more that the body is the effect, the mind is the cause, and all the conditions of the body can be healed with the change of the mind, with the healing of the mind. So atonement is the healing of the mind, when the mind understands it's not separate from other minds, and it's accomplished by seeing others as part of you, not the bodies, but what's beyond the body. And that's how we heal ourselves and we heal others.